got on Marketplace again today, and it's my daughter's birthday, so we're taking her out to eat, and my wife is going to meet me there. She's going to pull the car trailer with her car to meet me to go for my daughter's birthday, and then we're going to go look at this car. I think you'll like it. Oh, look at her go. All right, where you want to go eat, Squigs?
I don't know.
You don't know? You just want ice cream? Is that good? Wedding cake? Is it good? You like it? Squeezy? So I went ahead and put the trailer behind my truck because, you know, it's a 3/4 ton with trailer brakes and stuff. Got the wife following me now. We're gonna go check this thing out. Well, it's starting to rain on us. Now where we're headed is about an hour from where I actually live. Well, here it is. We just made the deal with the guy. We're gonna buy it. Now it is rusty. As with most things I've been buying lately. The whole floor pans are gone. He's put some plywood down to fix that, but I mean, it's such a cool body style. The outside looks pretty solid from what I can tell. I don't know why the floor is rusted out so bad, but we're gonna load it up now and get it home. Look at this key somebody's done. Be careful. It likes to move. Towards this way. We're having to use a little winch because I forgot to bring the tool for the big winch, the cable. Well, that wasn't too bad. These lightweight cars that aren't so low are a whole lot easier to load up. What are they doing? Had to stop and get some fuel on the way back. This thing, he didn't tell me till after I bought it, came with a brand new battery. What's the odds of that, huh? Looks like everything's going good. All our straps are tight. Let's get home. It's gonna be bedtime by the time we get there. Well, we're almost home. We stopped again at the Dollar General. Can you believe it? We're gonna meet up with a fellow YouTuber here. That's a good friend of mine. I'll show you who he is. There he is. We got the hot rod hoarder here. We've been buds forever. How many casings have we killed? Slicked over.
Quite a few.
Hey, we can't tell you all of them. Yeah. But yeah, he's a fellow car lover like me. Check out his channel if you haven't heard of it. But I'm gonna let him look it over. He's an expert. I love this little grill. I didn't do this. I didn't ask him. Well, let's get home. It's a school night and it's too late for all this. I just couldn't drive by my buddy's house without seeing him. He's always been a real good friend to me and gave me a lot of advice about YouTube stuff. Go check out his channel, guys. Hot Rod Hoarder. He's pounding down, loaded up and trucking. We're gonna do what they say can be done. Thank the Lord, we made it home, finally. After an hour of driving. I'm telling you, I don't know what to do with my hands. I mean, buying a car with 4 good casings and come with a brand new battery, I don't think I've ever done that before. You know the deal. PB Blaster, that's all we do around here. We got the big shot today. I'm afraid this motor can't take a whole lot, so we got it turned down to a 150 shot for this one. Don't want to overdo it. Little fuel pump. I don't think this thing actually has an oil filter, from what I can tell. Well, it's that time again. Time for the advertising. You know how much I love these old things. Man, I wish mine was a wagon. Wouldn't that be awesome? These people are just enjoying their day at the park in that little 4-door. Check this out. All the little cool options and stuff you could have got. All the details about the car. These young ladies right here going shopping at that beautiful mall behind them. I love those little boxes they're carrying around. That's pretty cool, huh? These cars, they must not put out very many ads for them because they were such a cheap car, because I had a lot of trouble finding enough advertising to show in here, but this is what I found. Hope you liked it, guys. So I've been doing some research on these things. I thought it was a Nash Rambler, but a car similar to this, very similar, was made by Nash and I think Hudson in 1954, 1955, but they had a quarter panel that came down and covered the back tire a lot more. They had a different grille. And one funny thing they did was to save money on these cars when they redesigned them, AMC bought them out or whatever, they flipped the taillights upside down instead of producing a different style taillight. They just flipped it. But at the time this came out, this was the cheapest car that you could buy in America. It was $1,789 when you bought it new. It has a flathead 6, which, you know, by this time was very outdated motor. These are 90 horsepower, 125 cubic inches. And they produced these cars from 1958 through 1960. And like the 58 model year, they only made a 2-door sedan like this. And then I think 59, they came out with the station wagon model. And in 60, they came out with a 4-door sedan model because they were worried about taking sales from their more expensive cars. So they just came out with a 2-door at first. But they came out in a couple different trim levels. They had a deluxe and a super in 58 and 59. And this is a super, judging by the trunk lid. So it was the upper trim level. I'm not sure exactly what all that came with. I couldn't figure that one out yet. And in 1960, they came out with a custom level, which was the highest level. And that would have had an overhead valve engine, 6-cylinder, which had 37 more donkeys than this 90-horse donkey machine right here. They all ran on a 100-inch wheelbase. So it's got a pretty short wheelbase, and they're about 2,500 pounds is what this thing is supposed to weigh. And these engines were actually supposed to get 30 miles to the gallon, which surprises me with a 2-speed automatic. I guess, you know, if you had an overdrive or something, I think they did offer an overdrive option, and they got even better gas mods with that. They produced 30,000 of these in 1958, 91,000 of them in 1959, and 120,000 in 1960. And I'm honestly not sure what year this is because I've seen some paperwork with it that says it was a 59 and some says it was a 60. So we got to look at the VIN number and figure that one out. Check this out. Somebody's made a little wind-up toy looking key. Oh, the trunk actually like still stays up great. That's awesome. So it looks like we got all the trim for the sides probably. Some sort of bumper guard, a super old, what does that say, Auto Life horn? Man, that thing's huge. Some marker lights maybe. Some seat tracks. We got some drain holes here. A little bit of drain holes in the back as well, but no engine parts. That's good. Well, Rocky and his wife have decided to come help us work on it. You want to see inside of it, Rocky? So check this out. I love this old dial, I guess for the AM radio, right? This ding dong that's showed up. Can't you see I'm trying to video? I don't know what this knob, that must be the volume knob. We'll have to try that when we get a battery on it, but look at these old knobs. I love them. You like it, Rockies? Huh? But I also, look at this. I've never seen a glove box that slides out like that. And nothing in there except for dirt dog. What? He's so nosy. Man, I love the pattern on the top of this back seat. That's really cool. There's really a lot of room in here. Honestly, I guess that's the little scuff plates, the thing for the top of the fender. And we got some armrests and stuff. What is this? Front seat. Oh, there's our gas cap. That thing's super cool. No more engine parts though. American. Looks like we got 61,900 miles. Is this a 100-mile-per-hour speedometer? I don't think I'd want to go 100 in this little thing. I love the little temperature and fuel gauge though. I guess it has a lot for no charge and low oil pressure. Check out the little indicator for the shifter. And reverse apparently is all the way down. Oh wait, maybe that's race. That's what that is. That's when you're racing, you throw her down in low. Check this out. I guess people at the time had never really seen unibody cars, so they explained it in the door jamb that it was a unibody car. That's pretty cool. It definitely looks like somebody has tried to at least spin this motor over at some point because it has new battery cables. And it looks like the plug wires are not terribly old in it. Man, that's pretty rough there. Well, looks like the carburetor's just sitting on there. And it's, let's see, is it seized up? Yeah, she's seized up solid. That's a good start. I don't know where the engine dipstick is in this thing. It, no, this stuff looks like it. Oh my Lord, that's the biggest dipstick. You could beat someone to death with this thing. It's a sword. Well, it looks pretty black, but it doesn't really look chunky. Wow. Yeah, it's like super heavy. So it's full up to here. But actually full is supposed to be here, so we've got a quart or two too much fluid in it. I'm gonna blow some of the trash off of here, then we're gonna pull the plugs out, so look down on the cylinders. How hard are they gonna be? Oh, that was pretty easy. Oh, I expected them to be worse. That PB Blaster works. Well, they all look equally bad. Typical carbureted car, kind of sooty looking. Luckily, these cylinder heads are like the one on the old 2-inch tractor we got running. Got little built-in funnels. Look, somebody's backed the head bolts off for some reason, and some of these head bolts have big old washers on them. I don't know what's going on. Ooh. You can see the edge of the valve down in there. You know, it's a little rusty, but see, on a flathead engine, the valves are coming up out of the block, so the valves are down in the block. So the air has to come in and make like a 180-degree turn to get back down the cylinder. So they're not really congruent with making a lot of power. I'm gonna go ahead and try to turn this thing over and see if the motor will turn over or not. Oh, yeah. It's not too bad to try to turn over. That's a good sign. I guess we're gonna go ahead and put the plugs in now since we know the motor turns over. That's a really good sign. Let's see what this distributor has for us. Well, don't look terrible in there. The rotor doesn't look terrible. It's got a really thick strap that goes between them. The points, I'll probably sand them down and set them. I'm gonna go ahead and sand these points. You wanna help? No? Okay, I'll just do it myself. All right, so I got some 320 grit sandpaper, just what I had around here. I'm gonna sand those contacts. I've turned the motor over by hand until I've got the points up on the lobe of the cam on this distributor. Now we're gonna set the points. It looks like they're too wide to me. So what you do, you put your feeler gauge in between the points right here, and then you loosen the screw that holds the points down, put your screwdriver in here then, and you can rock it back and forth to get your gap right on your points, and then you lock it down. This one's 16 thousandths. Okay, right there, the piston's at top dead center, and both the exhaust and intake valves are closed. So that should be it. So the number one cylinder is pointing right here. There's a little notch this distributor cap sets into, right there. So according to the numbers they had on the plug wires, they were saying this was number 6 and the opposite was number 1. So maybe I'm 180 out. I'm gonna turn it over till it points to the other side and see if we have any valves open or anything. Well, both valves are closed there too, so I'm gonna assume that they were correct and go with their number 1 position with the rotor pointing down instead of up. So the firing order on this, from what I found, is 153624, and it looks like the rotor goes counterclockwise. So the car didn't even come with a coil or a coil wire. So I found this old coil sitting around here off my old Maverick, and I can probably scrounge up a coil wire somewhere off one of these Fords. We'll see if we can get any spark. We're gonna start pulling the rust out of the intake manifold. I don't feel comfortable trying to start it with all that rust. It's gonna go right in there. Oh yeah. It's like covered in it. That wouldn't have been good to get sucked down the motor. Hear my hand pop? That's easy enough, it's just totally open. Well, I don't know where the battery's supposed to go. I guess we're gonna let it sit right there. I had to steal this thing out of the 67 Thunderbird because we don't have enough batteries around here. I think somebody put these cables on and never hooked them up because they've never been tightened up tight enough to actually fit a post. Let's see if this thing lets any smoke out. Whoa! That burnt me. What is up with that? So the only thing that's hooked up to the battery is this power wire, which probably powers everything in the car. And then this wire here, which is probably what starts or engages the starter cylinder. I'm gonna unhook both of them. That way there's no power going through anything except for my janky wiring. I got both of those unhooked now, so there shouldn't be any power to anything in the system. If it arcs like crazy now, it's gotta be something shorted out in that starter. Now that I'm looking at this, this goes directly into the starter motor where they had this hooked up. This is supposed to be on the top post here. And then once this gets power, it should connect these two. I think they just had it on the wrong terminal. That solenoid did a little bit of cracking and popping when I was tightening that down. I got a little bit of arc, but that's probably just the power to the coil, I would guess. Let me unhook this and see if I'm right. Yeah, it's just the coil. So I've got the coil wire hooked up, and I've got a little bit of a gap here between the spark plug and the coil wire. I'm gonna see if the starter works and see if we get spark out of that coil. Why are you doing that? That's not good. I think the actual starter motor's messed up, but let's see if I can turn this thing over to a different spot and see if that affects anything. I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild the starter. See if our rebuild worked. Oh, hey, the fan moved. It's moving just a little bit. Why did it turn over a minute ago? We got the wifey down there beating on the starter. It's moving. I'm gonna cut this heater hose out of my way so I don't have to deal with it. Squeeze it. It ratchets. There goes my ratchet. Almost. You're getting it, Ralphie. Here, I don't need it. Oh, you got it. Well, it looks like we're gonna have to either get this starter rebuilt or find the starter, and I'm not sure if either one of those is possible yet. This thing is not live at all. Oh, man. So I'm not sure if you guys can see it in the video, but this thing right here was kicking out, but it's like the motor, something in there is not right. All right, we got it off here and we got the battery cables hooked to it. I'm just gonna test it and see what it does out of the car. So I believe our Bendix is working and our solenoid's working, but something in this motor is just drastically wore out. It looks like it's barely got the power to turn itself. That motor's actually a little warm from that. I'm gonna pull this off. I actually called around, and Advanced Auto Parts says they can order it and have it here like in a week or so, but That's a long way away. It's got a little bit of rust in it. We're gonna take this thingy bopper out. I believe it's the brushes. Looks like they're all gonna fly in opposite directions. So this ground strap looking deal here is about melted in two. That don't look good. I'm wondering if this is our problem. This big power cable or whatever it is here, looks like the ends burn off of it, and this screw right here was completely loose. So I took that bolt out and put a washer behind it and tried to bend this lead over under there as far as it would go and tighten it back up. I'm gonna retest it now on the floor and see if that makes any difference or if we're still up a creek. This is a pain getting all these brushes in here at the same time. There's probably some trick that guys that rebuild them all the time know. You might have to put a feeler gauge in there and hold it back with that, I would think. Oh, now it doesn't work at all. Well, it looks like we're kind of dead in the water right now. I guess I'm gonna have to take this to a rebuilder or see if I can get a starter coming for it. One of the two. Not much we can do right now. So while we're waiting on the starter deal, I'll show you this. So this is our old carburetor, and it's locked up solid. So I got the best $61 carburetor money could buy. It's not an exact replacement for this one, and but apparently a lot of different engines came with the same style carburetor. I think it's called like a YF or something. Don't hold me to it. But anyway, so we got the cheapest carburetor they sell on eBay, and we're going to put it on there. The surface of this cylinder head slash intake manifold is really pitted, so I'm going to go ahead and form a gasket that just to fill in any of the imperfections. I had to dig through my bolt bin to find a nut that would fit. This is a 3/8 stud with a fine thread. This right here is just an 1/8 inch pipe thread fitting, and we may just gravity feed this motor. Man, that thing really stands out. That's like when you find a Steven Seagal movie in that $5 pile of DVDs at Walmart. Just the gym around all the junk. Check out this group of misfits here, huh? Y'all may not have known we had this many goats. We got even more over there. Well, it's been a couple weeks, and we finally maybe got a starter that'll work for this thing. It's clearly a different casting. This one's a little bit longer, but the measurements between the bolt holes are correct, and the size of the hole here is correct. It didn't come with this guy, this little arm plunger deal. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to have to take the one off this, I guess, and put in here. We originally ordered one from Advanced Auto Parts, and when it came in, it was totally wrong, absolutely wrong. So I found this one on eBay. It was a remanufactured one that I guess is somebody's old stock out of their store or something. So this was the only one I could find in the world. So we're hoping that it works. That pin out of there. Well, I can't get enough room to get this plunger or whatever it's called out of here. So I took the main bolts out of this starter motor, and I'm going to try to slide this out this way. Oh gosh, what have I done? Well, unfortunately, this thing is not the same size as this one. Hello, Ellie. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I can take the solenoid off of this one and put it on here, but also the style of this arm is totally different. This one right here, you can see the shape of it, and this one is more like a fork. So we got all kinds of problems. I'm not qualified to do this at all, but we're gonna try it. That ought to do. Yeah, that'll work. Come here, let's work on this starter. You think it'll work? be scared of Ellie. She won't bother you. Don't eat drill bits. Rocky. Don't eat drill bits. No. 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 Wait. Quit. Quit, boy. You're gonna get sick. No. I need my bolts. Okay. I see where this is going. Come here. Come here. I'll hide everything from you, you baby. You're gonna get sick eating the metal. So here's a summary. I had to slot these holes to bolt this up because the width was wrong. I also had to modify this to be able to put a battery cable in it. This solenoid doesn't fit this starter, and I just wrapped this big cotter key around that to make it work because the bracket here is totally different. So let's see if it works. Well, it's not looking good. Well, this has a really heavy return spring, so I'm going to take the return spring tension off of it and try it without it. See what that does. I don't know if that's going to make the starter hang wide open if it does start. Let's try it without this return spring on it. Is it kicking out?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe my Frankenstein starter will work. I'm just happier than a pig in mud that was able to work. I just hope, oh, well, there goes our coil. I just hope that everything else will work with this now. I got that thing bolted up. We're gonna set the battery back down in this, hook the cables up, and see if this thing will fire off. Well, I decided to go ahead and hook up some way to try to start this thing without having a screwdriver down here under the battery. So you always want to wire everything on your car in red, no matter if it's a ground, a positive, whatever. Just do it all in red. That way you only have to buy one color. I'm going to go ahead and put some fuel down in the bowl of this $61 carburetor. This has a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil in it, basically because I use it to put Marvel Mystery Oil in cylinders and use it to prime fuel systems both. Well, I haven't put that much fuel in it, and it's already just pouring fuel out of the booster for some reason. Here's a moment of truth. Say a little prayer, Ralphie. Well, the starter works. See if we got any spark here. Watch out for that fan blade. Oh, what are you doing now? Well, so it's pulling back on that, but it's not spinning. Let me turn it to a different spot on the flywheel and see if that makes any difference. No, that doesn't seem to be it. I'm holding this starter engaged and turn the starter in the motor. What is wrong now? Rocky's gonna tear you up. All right, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna hold this thing. I've got it engaged on the flywheel. I'm gonna hold it while I try to start it. That's what it is. It's not strong enough to engage the teeth by itself. All right, we got our KM10 again here. And I've wired up a ignition switch for this thing now because this thing gets kind of hot when you got a load going through it. And this thing will tell you if you got, it lights up red if you have a power source. It lights up ground or green if you have a ground. And you can also check continuity. You can check everything with this thing. So it's pretty neat. It helps a lot with wiring up these kind of things. There's a link in the description below about it if you're interested. So when this thing has a load on it, you have 12 volts going in, and you've only got 6 volts coming out. It knocks down the voltage so it doesn't burn up the coil. But one thing about this, some coils have a built-in resistor and some don't. So you might need to know that before you wire up one of these. All right, we got Ralphie running the starter wires now. We're gonna check and see if this thing has spark. Hit it, Ralphie. We ain't got no spark. Well, just so happens I ordered some new ignition parts from Wrong Auto while we were waiting on the starter. So we'll see if these are right. If they are, we'll put the new parts in it. Maybe that'll fix our ignition problem. Well, our rotor is completely wrong, so they got us on that one. Well, the points they sent us are totally wrong as well, so they're living up to their name. The condenser itself was actually, I could use it, but the bracket they sent was totally wrong. So I had to take the bracket off the old condenser and put on the new condenser. So the only thing it looks like we're going to be able to use out of what Wrong Auto sent us was the cap and the condenser, but not the bracket. I got my new cap on there, and I had some plug wires laying around here for another project, so I just went ahead and put new plug wires on it. So maybe this will fix the ignition issue. See if we got a spark. No, see. That sounded funny. Didn't it sound different right there? Mm-hmm. So what I did was I took this and I put power to the positive side of the coil, 12 volts. So maybe I need to take out that resistor. Maybe I'm messing it up by having an inline resistor. Okay, now we got a full 12 volts to the coil. Let's see what happens. Definitely seems like it's fighting against some ignition now. Yeah, we got spark. Maybe it's been a while since I primed this thing. Maybe it just needs some more fuel. Ha! I can't believe it's actually going to kick over. Get a big drink again. Big gulp. A little less choke. Our battery's getting... Man, it's so close. I have to engage it manually, I guess. We got any sparks still? No, for some reason it looks like we've lost spark now. Our coil feels hot. I'm worried that I'm burning up, sending too much voltage to it. So we still got 12 volts there. I'm going to send a ground signal to the negative side of the coil and see if we get any spark out of this coil. So look, if I push down on this, it sends a ground, which I'm using to send a point signal to test this coil. So our coil is still good. Our positive wire to our coil was a little bit loose. Let's see if we have spark now. Whoa, man, that thing lit off all of a sudden. Let's hook this wire back up and see what happens. Oh, Lord. Oh, there you go. Come on. Don't fight. Give it a big gulp. running after it gets going. There you go. Stay running. We're gonna have to let this battery charge. It's just, we've about killed it trying to start it over and over again. Well, we've had that battery on a charger for a while we went to town. And I finally broke down. You guys have been telling me to get a boat gas tank. So I bought a boat gas tank and a regular gas can. And we're gonna try to get a little bit of a fuel system figured out on this thing. Got some fittings. Got it on the Amazon a few days ago and ordered some more toggle switches. We're always running out of those things around here. Got a longer battery cable so I can maybe get that battery away from the motor. And John from Florida sent me some shop manuals for a 61 Ford, so this will come in handy on the Galaxies. We got a Jeep one. We might get us a Jeep one day. And a Cadillac one. So these things, if you've never looked through one of these old things, it's amazing the detail. Some of this, a lot of this stuff's hand-drawn. It's amazing what you can learn out of one of these versus looking it up online. Sometimes there's stuff that's only in these books you can't find online. So thank you for sending me that. I'm supposed to... Yeah, what the... What's the world coming to? Can't we just get a gas can that works? Yeah, that'll work. So we got our gas tank installed. That ought to work right there. We're just gonna gravity feed this one. I don't want to fool with a fuel pump. I expect that this mechanical pump does not work, considering it looks like it came off the Titanic. So we're just gonna gravity feed it with this 1/4-inch fuel line and set the tow and let her go. Well, we thought we were gonna move the battery forward, but it looks like the battery is gonna have to stay here. I guess we'll strap it down or something because I didn't look and see that the battery cable end that goes on the post was not on there. So I don't know why you would need a red cable like this with no battery cable in. I can understand the ground strap, but gotta pay better attention next time. I'm tired of touching these wires together, so I found a push button starter on Ralphie's little electric crazy cart. If you look back at old videos where we wired it up. So just don't tell him. He's at school right now. Ugh, that's heavy. So I ran some long 1/4-inch bolts into these fender bolt holes because somebody already took all the fender bolts out. And we're going to use this strap as our battery hold down. We might be good to go. I just realized this back window rolls down. I just assumed it was stationary. Well, I guess it kind of rolls down. Ours is probably broke here. But how cool is that, huh? Is this all these things roll down? Because both windows, that's all I was able to do was roll them down this far. Somebody tell me it's had one of these. Surely it rolls down all the way, right? I mean, I would think. All right, let's try this thing. What is it not happy about? Maybe it don't want to. Here's something some of you youngins may not be familiar with. Old distributors, some of them would have these little places you could put oil down in it to oil the distributor. I know the 50s, early 50s Chevrolets and stuff did that I'm familiar with, but yeah, you're supposed to oil that distributor. So I'm loosening the distributor now to see if I can see if the timing is off. It's got a little flathead screw is all that holds it. It kind of squeezes the distributor where it's supposed to be. Fan blade got me right there. You know how it kind of like paralyzes your hand for a second? Oh, it hurts. doesn't sit here and idle. That is crazy. We need to put some transmission fluid in it. I better shut it off pretty quick. Let's do it. Now, what are the odds of that? The thing fights me, and then cranks right up. It must have been, it seemed to really react to me moving the timing just a little amount. So I guess the timing was just barely off, and when I moved it in the right spot, I better lock that down. Man, I am super excited right now. I feel like I'm hopped up on RC Colas, but we're gonna put some transmission fluid in here so I don't hurt this transmission. And you know, Daddy always told me, use type F, so that's what I'm gonna use on this old gal. I put 2 QTs in there, and we're still super low on the dipstick. I know you're supposed to check it when it's running, but usually they read really high when they're not running. I'm gonna stick some more in it. Well, it looks like this feller here is gonna want to run for us, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick the radiator back in it and go through the old bin of radiator hoses. Do you guys have a bin of radiator hoses like this? We'll find something that'll fit it. Hey, buddy. Come see me? Huh? What are you doing, Rocky? Will you get that bottom clamp tightened up for me? I got the other screwdriver sitting on there, Rocky. Look how pretty my toes are today. Trying to get a bolt in the bottom of this radiator so it doesn't hit the fan. I'm just gonna put water in this thing because I don't know if it's actually gonna hold it. Well, it looks like it may not hold it. Where's it coming out from? It's got a leak in the core. That's unfortunate. Let's hook up a throttle cable. What do you say? Okay, we got our throttle hooked up now. And don't worry, I did it right. I made a handle out of the end of it. That way we have something to grab onto. This casing here is a little low. We don't want to have a flat casing on our test drive with no brake. Squeezy has volunteered to let me use her Play-Doh. And we're gonna goop this up with Play-Doh so at least it doesn't pour all of it out before we can get it in there. Yeah, that'll work. So if you have a leak, just put pink Play-Doh in it. It'll fix it. You gonna pour the next one in? On you go. Try to get some of it in there. Well, it looks like we need some more Play-Doh, I guess.
It's peeing on me.
Well, we got a mini sprinkler system, so it ought to help the grass when we're driving around the yard to kind of irrigate it. Coil wire was against the engine block. like 2 gears and went in reverse. And then slammed into my thing big enough to knock my air compressor over. Well, shiver me timbers. That is no good. Okay. Probably should have mounted that compressor when we moved it. Man, it like barely put a tiny ding in it there and bent our key. So we got off pretty good with that one. Oh, it's so slick in here now. Come on. I can't really get any traction. Just rock it. Get rocking. So it says park neutral 21LR. So, I mean, I didn't pull it all the way down, but maybe the linkage is kind of screwed up. I don't know. Maybe I messed up. Maybe we won't hit nothing now. Oh, we got brakes there. I don't know why I died, but anyway, Ralphie wanted to ride, so we're gonna let him ride with us. Oh, starter. Again. Oh, this is what's going on. Our coil fell over and is touching that breather. That's what's up. I probably should mount that, hindsight, or I shouldn't touch that either. You always say itch with me. You like everybody else's cars.
Well, there are not like a non-seated car with hardwood flooring. I mean, seriously.
Man, look at this little thing go. I can't believe it. It like revs clean and everything. That little $61 carburetor works pretty good. I'm in love with this thing. I cannot believe how well it runs. It's smoking a little bit, but don't worry about that. Well, it's a little steamy, but we know it's got coolant in it, right? Man, I'm so surprised. I really, throughout doing this video, I was like, man, am I buying all these starter and carburetor and everything? And is this thing not even going to run for me? I was really worried it didn't have enough compression to run anymore. But man, this little flathead, you just can't kill them, I guess. It's just 6 in a row and it's ready to go. While riding in my Cadillac. The little Nash Rambler was following the road down his window and yelled for me to hear,
Hey buddy, how can I get
Look it
this
up.
car?
It's the Beep Beep song. Look it up. It's about these cars.
It's magical.
You have to check it out. think our coil.
Okay, it's
I think our coil probably touched something, and it may be overheating by now. Probably stay back there, kiddios. It looks like it's getting a little hot. Well, I'm not sure what's up. Doesn't seem to want to start anymore. So this may be its home for the next couple days out here. All right, buddy, you take care of it for us. Don't let nobody mess with it. We'll be back to get you, don't worry. See you, boy. What'd you think about that, Rocky? Did you like it? I wish you could have rode. I just didn't want you to get hurt. Tell the viewers bye, okay? Tell them see you later. Yeah, that'll be fine. Oh, it's just time to celebrate around here. That's what we gotta do. Here, don't turn it down. It's just time to crack a Vaina. You know? That's all it is. You want one? Vaina? Wally, you want a Vaina? Hit me. It's not an RC Cola, but it's good. Couldn't find any RC Colas for this one. Some more? Smoked Vainas. Well, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Check out our second channel, Sleeper Dude 2. Check us out on Instagram at Sleeper Dude 88. Facebook, Sleeper Dude. What else do they need to do? Anything?
I did a burnout on my dirt bike on Sleeper Dude 2.
You did do a burnout on your dirt bike in Sleeper Dude 2. Check that out. I appreciate you guys watching. We're going to have t-shirts and hats and hoodies and everything for sale on the channel. By the time you're watching this, it may be right below you, so look for it. I appreciate all the views, guys. It really helps out. There'll be more to come. We got all kinds of other stuff to get running.